Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Syahramani binti Muhammad Farouk. So our group topic is on the issues in relation of gated and guarded in landed housing scheme. Gated communities are protected by a wall or fence. Connectivity to residential units is restricted by security guards or security officers, gates, blocks or chains, as well as 24-hour patrols, CCTV, a central monitoring system, and other facilities. So without the gate and guarded, they could have an adverse effect on the neighborhoods, close by endangering safety, limiting access, or fostering social inequality. The creation of gated and guarded schemes must take into account and pay close attention to the community sustainability, comfort, cleanliness, and security issues such as favorable, secure.
In Malaysia, the development of gated and guarded community scheme now appear to be a feature of the housing industry. The scheme will undoubtedly be appealing to developers due to its higher returns and increasing market demand, particularly in urban areas such as Kuala Lumpur, Shah Alam, Penang and Johor Bahru. So we can see that our residential development industry now advertise the merits of gated and guarded housing scheme as a new private way of life. However, it is unlawful to privately attempt to restrict and regulate public space without the approval of the relevant authority. Therefore, there is some issue relating gated and guarded in landed housing scheme according to legal perspective, which is issue of infringement of public right. When a developer build walls, fencing or other means to transform an area as a gated and guarded community, the status of the road as a public road does not change. This is due to the fact that developer no longer own the land, although these public amenities are regarded as common property for residents under the gated and guarded scheme. These so-called common property are deemed to be public place that fall under the jurisdiction and control of the local authority, not the developer, according to the Local Government Act of 1976. Other issue is liability of developer for misrepresentation. A developer is required by law to provide a certificate of title to his buyer, and if he is unable to do so, the developer may be in violation of the contract of guilty of misrepresentation. In sale and purchase agreement, the buyer and developer will also enter into a document called as a deed of mutual confidence (DMC) or a deed of mutual governance (DMG). The DMC will outline the right and obligation of buyers and developer. Therefore, the innocent party has the right to file a civil lawsuit in the event of any contract non-compliance. For example, case of Datuk Sulai Singh and kumpulan Si Rama Sidihan Berhad. Last issue is non-uniformity of the planning guideline. There are no standard planning guidelines that local government can use because there are no regulatory measures governing gated and guarded community scheme. There are a variety of guidelines that differ from one local authority to the next.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hakim Muhammad Fadi. I'm going to explain about the issue related gated and guarded in the housing according to property aspect. Okay, there are two effects that may affect to the aspect, which is effect of property prices and also effect to the social interaction. Okay, firstly we go to the effect of property prices, which property prices are rising due to developers and buyers now have to cover the two sets of upkeep costs, which is state rates, taxes and maintenance fee. As we know that for the maintenance fee that developers have to maintain the mitigated implemented in the gated and guarded communities, and also have to pay the income to the security guards. So in result, properties in gated communities are more expensive compared to the non-gated communities. So this trend in Malaysia looks to be significant growth in properties in gated communities. Okay, moving on to the effect on social interaction. Gated and guarded physical security measures contribute to greater social divides and placing vacant houses behind walls, and has a detrimental influence on social integration in poorer neighborhoods. Entry limitation, barriers, security gates, and technological installation have increased the burden of social communication.
Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nura Aini Najmah binti Muhammad. So I will talk about the research approach and design. The inductive method was the analysis technique that was adopted for the purpose of this report.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Aini Najmah binti Muhammad Azmi. I will continue with data resources. Primary data is data directly taken from information sources, has been appointed to visit and collect information from the respondents. Next, secondary data is data received indirectly from sources of information. There is a lot of secondary data available.
For data collection method, our group gathers secondary information from various sources. We made an effort to compare information from a variety of sources, including books, articles, websites, and newspaper. The information gathered must come from reputable sources in order for it to be accurate and trustworthy. The objective is to make sure we can collect accurate data without spreading false information.
I will continue with data analysis landed houses security with gate and guard. This is because people are prepared to pay the greater price available in the market for gate and communities. Safety and security system, guard service, security control, and intercom system at the main entry are all popular safety elements in gate homes.
Thank you to the previous presenter. Next, I will explain about the effect of gated and guarded to the unlanded houses on safety and security. A gated community is better at protecting residents from crime as the security guards, guard houses, installation of boom gate, and neighborhood CCTV system applied. With the system applied, it will monitor the area of the residential and also make the criminals will find a hard way to enter the premises, as the premise itself will be protected by the security guards if anything bad happen to the residents in the residential area. By this way, the resident may feel more secure if there are walls, fences, and gated present. As we know that in the residential area, the walls, fences, and gates will make the area of the residential is protected. Next, the gates that have been installed improve the safety of the community as the gate restrict people to enter the residential premise, which requires screening and checking the resident and outsiders to enter. This is because the security guards will stop the people through the gates and identify either the people is resident or the outsiders. The outsiders they have to register by the security houses by taking the identification card, and also with the IC given, it will register them to enter the premises. By this implementation, it will make the resident feel safer through gated and monitored area throughout the day and night, because the security guards will work 24 hours to monitor the residential area.
So let's talk about the effect of gate and guarded to landed house. First, safety and security. The fear of crime and violence is the primary motivation for people to purchase home that has gate. This is because their safety has improved as a direct consequence of this, which is especially beneficial given their aspiration to reside in a more secure neighborhood. Second, financial factor. Homes in gated residential communities that have efficient security system and features have gradually developed into a profitable market sector within the real estate business due to the fact that these communities' home sells for higher price. According to Fadahunsi et al. 2020, the interest rate on prospective home buyer mortgage will have an effect on their intention to acquire residential residence in communities that require entry cards such as gated communities. When the interest rate is higher, the monthly payment that would be required to finance the purchase of the home is also higher. Next, according to the Samsudin et al. 2016, people are desperate and are willing to pay the market maximum price for it due to their high demand. The value of price for this sort of property has surged dramatically. Next, social status. Gated and guarded communities have fancy exteriors and trends to attract people who value privacy and status. According to Jiwa Sanggeta 2018, the fact that the inhabitant is wealthy, well-educated, and married demonstrate the resident status as someone who lives behind the wall. After that, the communities have more privacy. The residents not only gain a sense of physical protection and security from the gate and guarded, but they also gain a greater appreciation for their own space and privacy. Last but not least, lifestyle facilities. People have a strong preference for gated communities because they want access to a variety of premium lifestyle facilities. These include a private clubhouse, swimming pools, jacuzzi, BBQ areas, convenient markets, gyms, musola, and other services that facilitate the daily needs of the residents.
So next we move to the property owner's expectation on gated and guarded. Landed housing property developments that invented the idea of a gated and a guarded community have begun to catch on and win over local residents. However, some Malaysians might consider buying a home in a neighborhood with guard and gated communities because of the costly prices fee or charges. It is important for all buyers to just not focus solely on the security services, because it is obvious that community security fees are less expensive than those who paid by individual homeowners. These doubts arise from the concerns about the efficiency of security in gated communities, such as a poor managerial system. Insecurities of households are what drive people to live in gated communities. All of this can guarantee that the high level of safety and security of the property that is gated and guarded. Gated communities offer more than just physical barriers to mark the boundaries of neighborhoods. In Malaysia, a typical gated community would have recreational amenities for residents' easy use, such as fitness center, prayer rooms, barbecue pits, swimming pools, convenience stores, and other amenities that help residents with their daily needs. Other than that, residents of privatized and gated communities typically believe that the worth of their gated properties could be increased. High level of security and safety also. Many recreational facilities are only accessible by residents, as well as the perception that living a gated home represent prestige and lifestyle have a favorable effect on its property pricing. The majority of homes owner believe that the presence of gated and guarded enclaves has deterred crime in the neighborhood. Therefore, the residents of the gated and guarded housing community are expected to be more satisfied as a result of a wider and more comprehensive range of housing amenities. So in conclusion, in many advanced and developing worlds, the concept of gated communities has gained importance. Gated and guarded communities have been shown to be effective at reducing crime rates and should be encouraged as a legal means of doing so. Gated and guarded communities have become a common way of life for those seeking prestige and security. Malaysian housing developers must change their approach to keep up with the requirements and demands of home buyers. This is due to the fact that modern home buyers are willing to pay extra costs to own a house with the functionalities they want, because doing so will ultimately give comfort and fulfillment and raise residential satisfaction levels. So that's all from our groups. Thank you.